Northern Quest Resort and Casino presents the Best of the West Poker Challenge, the largest added purse tournament in the Great Pacific Northwest. And round two from Northern Quest Resort and Casino. We began with 200 players. We are now down to 79, and these are the chip leaders. Trav Green is a guy who's just been on fire, Anthony.
That's right. Trav Green eliminated so many players during round one. Look for him to do well again today.
And Alan Thorpe, along with George Green, are playing well.
George Green, the grandfather of Travis Green.
And a person you also have to keep your eye on is Marcia Riddle.
Marcia Riddle, only the second tournament she's ever entered, and she's playing really well here today, taking advantage of a lot of bluffing opportunities.
John Nugent is a poker pro, and Anthony, he's never out of it.
He's always a threat, no matter how big or small the stack he has.
Jim Brinson along with our poker analyst Anthony Fedeli as we put the cards in the air for round two.
79 players left in our field today, playing down to 20.
I'll take good care.
Lines at 600 and 1200. Coach doesn't like his hand at Queen 9.
I raise.
Raise.
Dean Sowers with a ace king.
36.
Soward's coming in for a raise.
Pass 2,400 if you would like to call.
Tracy Baker sitting on a pair of jacks. And we'll see if she calls. Counts out the chips.
I think Baker's thinking about a re-raise here.
All in.
And she
Re-raise,
does. She's
all
all in.
So the pair of jacks against the ace king.
14,800 total.
Call.
Call. We have all in on table number one.
So Sowards makes the call.
Ace king, pair of jacks.
Here's the flop. King, queen 8.
Got a pair of kings, pair of jacks.
Tracy Baker now looking for those last two remaining jacks.
A 5 on the turn.
Pair of jacks, pair of kings, club draw with the kings.
River card
Kings and
is an 8.
eights. Tracy is eliminated.
Alrighty. Now.
Lost one on table number one.
So Tracy Baker eliminated early here in round two with a pair
We're
of
gonna have a
jacks.
single big blind, one big blind for 1,200.
Northern Quest Resort and Casino has a unique way of changing the format of these tournaments. It really works. It adds a lot of dynamics to the game. Two groups of 100 players playing down to 40 each, and now we're on day two. 80 players playing down to 20.
Dan Largent with a pair of 4s and Craig Renault sitting on a pair of 7s.
Both players flopped a set, and on the turn, that 4 gives Dan Largent quad 4s. Renault is drawing to the last 7 in the deck.
River card is a 5. And Dan Largent will collect those chips. And that helped him out tremendously because he was short stacked.
Okay. 2,000 to call.
Lines at 1,000, 2,000. Kai Trong sitting on a pair of kings.
Okay.
Oh, that's wrong. Put it on one side.
No, that's going to be just a call.
And Trong a little upset with himself
now?
getting the betting wrong there. I think he wanted to put a raise in and didn't actually put enough in just to call the blind. So he was committed just to do that.
I'm all in.
And we got to raise all in.
That's Ed Torreson, who's decided to go all in.
14,800 total.
I hate this.
See what you did to us?
How much more?
12,800 more.
12.
You want to call? Put 13. I'll give you change if you want to call.
Come on.
Re-raise all in.
So Kai Trong going
Pass.
over the top, all in.
Okay, take all of that
That's
back.
basically just to get wood out of the hand.
I'll need it.
Take all of that back. I'm going to
I
give you
saw an ace and
200
got
more.
excited.
King and a
Kings
pair of
fold.
fours on the flop.
Ace 9 needs runner.
So Trong
ace.
flops a full house.
Was eliminated.
Torreson's going to
Nice
have to
flop.
catch 2 aces.
All over.
Good hand. Good luck, you guys.
And Kai Trong walks away with all of those chips,
Lost one,
and
table
Ed
number
Torreson
1.
is eliminated.
We will have a single big blind.
Trong a little upset at the beginning there with his misbet, but it all turned out well for him.
Certainly did. I mean, he ended up being the big winner of that hand. And the poker continues from Northern Quest Resort and Casino, the Best of the West Poker Challenge. The Best of the West Poker Challenge is brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino. It's all about the journey. And Western Gambling Journal. Those are the big trophies that everybody's playing for. But right now, we're going to go to our guy on the floor, Doug Clark.
I'm with our dentist, Ed Torrenson. Why so down in the mouth?
Wow, I love it, Doug. Well, usually that's where I'm at most of the time. But it's a great tournament, and I was very lucky to be part of it. And Northern Quest does such a damn good job. And I wish, of course, I had some better cards, go to the table short stacked, and really the gods weren't with me today. But I saw an ace and got excited and went all in, but of course against pocket kings, and the flop come king 4-4, so I'm looking at a full house. So it didn't work today, but it was a fun time, and I really enjoyed being here.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Ed.
All right, good seeing you again, Doug. Thanks a lot.
See you, man.
And there's Cam Buffington. We've seen him on many of our poker programs. Guy who really likes to play.
Yeah, Cam Buffington seems to play even better when he's short stacked than when he's winning.
And he's going all in right now.
22.
That's Zach Cheatham, and he's got a decision to make.
Did it to me too. Yeah, the big blind.
So after the flop, Cam with a big bet going all in there, gets Cheatham off of his hand, and Cam picks up the pot.
Well, you always talk about that sometimes he plays even better when he's short stacked.
Cam is a very calm, collected kind of guy, you know, and it translates into his poker really well.
See, this is better poker. Everybody say what they have.
That's Gerald Watley.
One player all in.
And Gerald Watley short stacked and is all in.
Wins the side pot. Showdown. King with the deuce. King with the.
King with a deuce for Watley.
Whatley up against a king-queen. His hands dominated, especially with the queen out there, and his tournament is over.
And on the TV table, blinds are 2,000 and 4,000. Players not liking what they have. Coates gets out. Robson didn't like the king-queen.
Called. One more thousand.
One more?
Yep.
4,000.
Marcia Riddle in with an ace-6. Soward sitting on an ace-7 and calls.
Kai Trong with a king-queen suited. Acting from the button.
Did you find my chip, Mark?
Something tells me he won't make a mistake betting. I think he's going to put in a raise here.
Because I have my chips now. So there's 7 of these, and 2 or 3 of these. And when I came over here, I still had
Sizing up the stacks of the remaining players in this hand.
Called.
And he decides just to call.
figured out that I could make the small blind, big blind have one.
I know I'm not part of that conversation. I don't think one like
Bill Reich sitting on a jack-7 suited.
Right from the small blind, could be thinking about trying to limp in here.
Called. I think I hit 26 more.
somebody got into my bag.
Now it's up to Wood. He has the option to raise.
All right.
And he checks with a 9-7 offsuit.
On the flop, 10, 3, and ace.
Check.
So Soward's in the lead with his pair of aces and a 7 kicker.
5,000. All right, when you get a seat.
Marcia Riddle bets out at it. Soward's now to act.
Raise to 10,000.
So Sowers pushes up the ante.
Now we see Kai Trong here with a nut flush draw. Another opportunity for him to put in a good raise here.
Called.
But he just calls. Opportunity for him to put in a semi-bluff there and probably get Reich and Wood off their hands, which they are going to do anyway.
Called. 3 players.
Trong, Sowards, Riddle. And the turn card is an 8.
Check. All in.
Sowards moves all in.
29,000.
Wheeling again.
Yep, 29,000.
And now it's up to Kai Trong. One thing about Kai, he never rushes.
Definitely, he needs to think about making a call here, but he decides to fold. I believe the pot odds would have dictated he should call there.
And look at this, Riddle decides to toss in as well, so Sowards picks up that big pot.
Well, with that weak kicker, Riddle didn't have much of a choice but to fold.
Well, Gerald Whatley is a guy who played great last year, but he got bounced early this time around. Here's Doug Clark.
Our second place finisher last year, Gerald Whatley. This year, not so good. What happened?
I just wasn't catching the cards. Couldn't play it without no cards. Plus, I had a short chip coming in the game.
Well, I saw that. You started out about 6,000 chips, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tough.
That is tough. I tried.
Well, it seems like you're having a good time.
Oh, yeah, I had a good time. I enjoyed myself.
All right, well, you take care, Gerald.
Okay, Doug, you too. All right. Thank you now.
See you.
Okay.
Trav Green is sitting on a pair of sixes, and Jana Griffith with the ace queen. And Jana Griffith goes all in and wins that pot against Travis Green. You don't see that happen that often.
Not very often. Trav Green has been knocking out a lot of players, especially in round one.
Welcome back to the Ponderay Pavilion. And Trav Green sitting on a pair of queens, and Michael Fryatt on an ace-10. Deuce, 9-8 on the flop. The turn card is another deuce.
Oh, against him.
9 on the river is going to end Michael Fryatt's tournament, and Trav Green continues his tear of eliminating players from round one here today.
And that's Dan Largent winning another hand and eliminating another player. So Largent, along with Travis Green, continue to play very well. Blinds at 3,000, 6,000.
Go ahead. 6,000 to call.
Here we see Kai Trong again with Big Slick offsuit. As always, Trong taking his time, putting his chips in the pot.
Raise. To 18,000.
So Trong putting in 3 times the big blind with that raise. Reich folds.
Well, Wood has folded. Best thought about it, thought better of it, and decided he was going to get out of the hand. Now to Coates. He doesn't like his either. Marcia Riddle in the small blind.
You raise to 12, you got to go to 30.
Marcia Riddle putting in a
You
raise.
12, so you got to raise them 12 back to make it a true raise. You got to go to 30,000. One of those chips.
It's the second round since we come back.
All right, 30,000.
Yeah.
Second round.
2,000 and then, yeah. 12 more to make right next.
Yep.
14.
So
12
Marcia
more.
Riddle from the small blind putting in a re-raise has got to make Kai Trong think about what she really has. From that position, putting in a re-raise is very aggressive, so he may go all in over the top since he has Big Slick.
Trong continues to ponder his decision.
Gamblers.
Riddle just kind of relaxing and taking it all in.
Called. 30,000.
So Trong just makes the call.
Heads up, two players.
So we should see some action here after the flop.
One player, guys. Talk about the hand.
A 3-5-10 on the flop.
That helps Riddle's hand. She makes
All
top
in.
pair with a pair of 10s and decides to go all in.
I knew you can do that.
27,000.
So we see here, if Trong had
All right, turn
had
him
gone
over, please.
all in over the top of Riddle before the flop, he would have prevented her from being able to get a chance to catch one of her 2 cards. She was on a semi kind of weak hand.
Holy cow.
But Trong, with an ace on the turn, ends up taking down the pot.
So Kai Trong, after thinking that he might be walking away from the table, ends up collecting a big pot.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, last time I can't shoot it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And I got straight draw on the flop. And that flop I have straight draw too. Can't really do that to me again. Almost like that. There's too many people, you know. Like
Marcia Riddle.
Besides that, you can't look bad on it.
Kind of thinking about how did that happen?
Maybe she'll think twice about playing Queen 10 offsuit next time.
Well, that pair of kings belongs to Charlie Catchpole, and the ace 10 is Cliff Schmitz.
Catchpole flops a set.
Ace on the turn. And the deuce on the river, and that is going to be it for Cliff Schmitz as he is bounced. Dan Largent with an ace-king and Jason James with an ace-9.
Dan Largent all in. Pairs his kings on the flop.
The turn card's a deuce.
And the ace on the river is no help to Jason James. Dan Largent's going to more than double up here in this hand. Dan Largent's been doing really well even on a short stack, getting his chips in with the best hand every time.
Let's go to our man on the floor, Doug Clark.
Cliff Schmitz, what happened?
Draw the cards. I just didn't get the ones I needed.
How were you set today? Did you have a lot of chips, or where were you?
No, actually, I came in pretty low to start with and stuff, so I didn't have high expectations.
That seems to be the story of the day. It's been really hard for the short stack players to just hang in there.
Well, when the blinds get up that high, it tends to get a little fast-paced, and you lose them fast, so you play some hands you don't really want to play.
Did you have a good time?
I had a blast. It always is.
It's great to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
All right, see you.
6-5 there is Dan Largent. Matched up against Chris Lester with an ace-queen.
Dan Largent with a straight draw headed to the turn, pairs his sixes. And the river is no help, so Chris Lester is done.
And Dan is counting his chips, and he's got a lot of them. Playing very well here at Northern Quest Resort and Casino in the Ponderay Pavilion. Everybody seems to have a lucky charm. And right now, Dan Largent is enjoying his At the Best of the West Poker Challenge. Arlen Ald with an ace-king. Trav Green sitting on a 7-3 suited. And a 10, Jack 6 for the flop. The turn card is another Jack. 8 for the river card, and Arlen Ald stays alive. He was short stacked, but he wins this hand against Trav Green. Cam Buffington is one of the best short stack players around.
I got about 30,000, which is just a little under average, but that's just where I want to be. Better than a short stack. I've played that many times. My girls are both at university, and so I'm here really needing to win some money this time. When the blinds drop back down on the start of the second day, and then again at the semi-tables, it gives you a real advantage, and playing here a number of times gives you a little bit of advantage because you play a little different. If you get down close on your chips, you want to hold on till you can get to the next level. And on that level, then when the blinds drop down, playing a short stack is okay. You can come back and come around. So you don't want to get too crazy right near the end of one of the rounds.
Cam Buffington all in now as he has an ace-8 matched up against an ace-king.
King falls on the flop, and Cam Buffington's tournament is over.
The line's now 4,000 and 8,000.
Go ahead.
Marcia Riddle doesn't like that. Kai Trong, nope.
Shorty Best decides to fold King 3 suited.
Top the blinds. That's fine. 24.
Grizz Sauter sitting on a pair of sixes.
All in. Call. All right.
All
good
in.
hand.
Go.
Adam Coates is going to jump into this game as well with a pair of eights.
It's like a cooler blind. Yeah.
Cooler blind.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? You can't fold that. You certainly can't fold this.
61,000 he's got.
You want it in there?
Sure. All right.
Nice hand.
Killer.
So Coates moved all in and flopped a set of eights. A 9 on the turn is going to do it. Coates is going to double up.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right. Set of eights.
Nothing you can do about that, unfortunately. Just played itself.
So Coates was short stacked, and now look at his stack.
Come back, you were down to what, like 21 or something like that. Good comeback.
Yep.
I had 17 all in. Yeah, 17.
Was it 17?
All in. Yeah, that was good.
Nice comeback.
Thank you.
So Adam Coates restacks and gets ready for another hand. Now let's check in with our man on the floor, Doug Clark.
Well, it's a dark day for Eastern Washington University. My old classmate, my friend, the man I call Kid Corduroy, Cam Buffington. He's out.
Yeah, I'm out today. Yeah.
What happened, Cam?
He had a better kicker than I had.
Excuse me?
He had a better kicker.
Yeah, well, explain.
His second card was bigger than my second card, so we both had aces, and he had a king and I had an 8.
It seems like just a few plays ago I was over there watching, and you picked up a sizable pot.
Easy come, easy go. Yeah, it's, hey, sometimes they come and sometimes they go. Today, I didn't have many good cards, so when I got them, I tried to play them aggressively, and that time aggressively didn't work out so good. So,
well, I'm sure we're going to see you again.
Well, I hope so.
My friend.
All right.
Take care, my man.
And we look in now on George Green, contemplating his next move.
Looks like George is in one of the blinds here, contemplating a call.
Go ahead.
But he moves all in.
All in and a call.
King, Queen, matched up against the Ace-10 of Curtis Cox. Jack 6-7 for the flop.
Four on the turn.
And the river card is of no help, and that will do it for George Green. And while the grandfather has left the table, grandson, Trav Green, is locked into one here.
He's in a hand with Robert Williams, who's sitting on a pair of queens. The ace on the turn gives Trav aces and kings. And the 10 on the river means that Trav Green has eliminated another player.
While Travis continues to win, George is with Doug Clark.
Oh, say it ain't so. The elder Gramps Green here just took it. We're out. What happened?
The dealer.
You're blaming the dealer?
It wasn't my fault.
Well, you're still cracking jokes. That's good.
Well, sure. It's all fun.
You having a good time?
Great. You guys are perfect. Best tournament I've ever played in.
Oh, that's super.
Now, how do you like that?
We couldn't ask for a better endorsement.
Look, even he's smiling.
Thanks a lot, Jordan.
All right.
Take care.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And while Gramps exits, the grandson continues to play on and win big at the Best of the West Poker Challenge. Welcome back to the Best of the West Poker Challenge. Arlen Ald with a pair of 8s, and he's gone all in against Dan Elo with an ace-9 suited.
7 king 5 on the flop, no help to either player. Dan Elo came in today as the chip leader. A queen and a 7 on the turn and river is going to give the pot to Arlen Ald. So he lives to fight another day.
He stays in the tournament. Blinds 4,000 and 8,000. Lots of players passing, deciding not to get into this hand.
Coates here with an ace-queen offsuit.
And a major stack of chips.
Raise to 20,000. All in.
So Coates with a big raise, and Sowards comes in with pocket 9s. He's all in now.
Trong doesn't like his cards.
You got ace-king down there? Call.
So the pair of 9s of Sowards all in against the ace-queen of Coates. 3-2 jack on the flop.
Come on, club. Just
Sowards now with a club draw. Jack on the turn. No help. Sowards still ahead now with 2 pair. And an 8 of clubs on the river gives Sowards a flush, and he takes down this pot.
Critical flip right there.
So you think Adam Coates a little upset on that play by him?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. He's built up a nice stack and dumped a little bit to Sowards in that hand.
Well, Dan Largent is a guy who is collecting a lot of chips, and he's the subject of our Western Gambling Journal profile.
First overall in Reading a million years ago, and first overall at the Center quite a few years ago. And I got the Phelps title of Montana State Champion in 1991, which just started a BS, turned into fire, but I've played a lot of these tournaments and I'm comfortable, and I've done well over the last 25 years.
How have you done here?
I've done, well, I got a first in the limit 6 months ago, and a second the first year you had the Best of the West. And I've only played 3, so yeah, a little logging town, you know, not much supervision. Us kids had to learn or drown. And most of us made it.
You obviously has. How long have you been playing cards?
You know, I got interested in it when I was about 11 years old, I'll bet. About the same time I started noticing girls. It's about the time this gambling's interesting. I don't know what it was.
Any similarities?
I don't, well, taking a chance, yeah. You're taking a chance.
Going all in? I don't know.
I don't either. No friend of mine said it's good to take a chance on a blanket now and then. I'm not sure what he meant.
Great conversation, but Dan Largent right now is all in. Matched up against Rick Bauer.
Got an all in on.
Largent with an 8-2. Bauer sitting on a Jack-Queen suited.
Okay, the 4 is okay.
And Rick Bauer has flopped a flush, so that is going to end Largent's tournament.
Lost one.
John Nugent comes over to congratulate him.
Well, those two have squared off many times, along with this man, Rick Bauer. Trav Green sitting on a 10-6 suited.
10, Henry.
He's going up against Charlie Catchpole with a 3-4, and Chris Holden with Big Slick. And a 10 on the river gives Trav Green the victory, knocking out both Charlie Catchpole and Chris Holden.
I'm telling you, Trav Green is just playing lights out.
He's definitely on a tear. And look at that healthy stack.
Dan Largent doesn't have a stack of chips anymore, and that's why he's talking to Doug.
Dan, you look a little flushed.
Nope. I played a little wild, and you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I broke with an 8 deuce.
Really?
Some folks wouldn't play that hand, but it can get better.
Why did you play that hand?
I was trying to steal from my friends.
And you know that's a commandment.
Yeah, I'll be careful from now on.
I don't believe you for a minute.
Oh, don't this mean anything? Oh, it's been a great time. And you guys, Quest puts on a great show, and you guys treat us right. Yeah, I got no regrets.
Well, you're one of the class players, so it's good to always have you here.
Thanks.
All right.
Always a pleasure.
Take care, Dan.
Sorry to see Dan go. Great commentary. Steal from your friends.
Yeah, a little bit of a confession there from Dan. He's one of the more vocal players, and he plays a little bit of loose style of poker than we're used to seeing. Blinds now at 6,000 and 12,000.
Kai Trong thinking about it.
Sitting on a King-9 suited, taking his time as always.
Now, you can't rush him, can you?
No, very deliberate.
When you play with a guy who takes as much time as Kai does, how is it if you're sitting at that same table and then he decides to get out?
Depending on how the rest of the table is playing, it could be somewhat of a nuisance, but sometimes it just gives them that much more time to give you information, give you a tell.
I haven't even looked. Neither have I. Unbelievable. Best card I've had all day.
So Shorty Best here going all in and running into pocket aces.
I'm glad I didn't push right. I always look when. Yeah.
Well, wow. Good luck, I guess.
Well, we'll see how the cards flop there.
Only 3. Better.
9 and a pair of sevens.
See, an 8 and a 6. 2 more on queens.
It's the first aces I've had this trip.
Oh, I got
Well,
a chance.
Best catches another heart on the turn. He has a flush draw now.
Oh, I got a pair of 5.
And the 5 of clubs on the river is going to end Best's
First time
tournament.
I've had aces this tournament.
I haven't had them.
I didn't even look.
get less than a small blind.
Table 1.
You know what? I had him yesterday and won the blinds.
So do I just put 3 out there now because he put 4 out there? Wow, that's just not even. That's not even right. You were my favorite dealer, but now I've got one.
Al Lohner with some great conversation at the poker table. We are far from being done, however, as the Best of the West Poker Challenge continues. The Best of the West Poker Challenge is brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino. It's all about the journey. And by Western Gambling Journal. Marcia Riddle is playing in just her second poker tournament and she is the subject of our Western Gambling Journal profile.
I like cards in general and competitive. And it was a fun game. Keeps the brain going. Oh, I don't like bridge. Not at all. Not at all. The first tournament I ever played here, my first goal was to not be the first one out, and I came in third. And so I thought I'd try it again. Yeah, I worked with Adult Protective Services, and so you have to have a sense about people, you know, whether they're telling you the truth or not. Poker players are that way too.
Oh, she is so right about that, huh, Anthony?
Absolutely.
And Marcia Riddle is all in this hand with a king-7.
And Trong going to make a call here. I think he is either just taking his time as usual, or he's thinking about putting in a re-raise to get other players out of this hand.
Seat 4 makes a raise to 37,000.
And he does put in a raise.
Love hearing that.
Now Adam Coates doesn't like his cards.
That's so, yeah. You can't get it unless you hear it.
All right, big blind is all in for 12,000. We have a player all in and called on table 1. Showdowns, please. Shows an ace of clubs,
Oh,
king of diamonds,
So sick.
king of spades with a 7
So
of
sick.
diamonds. Going to the
How about a couple of 7s?
One 7, she won 2 7.
Wouldn't that be good?
It is 7, yeah.
Oh, I'm done.
There it is, ace 7.
Well, Marcia Riddle got the 7 that she wanted. Unfortunately, the ace fell as well, giving Trong a pair of
Would that be
aces.
good? That isn't it. How about a 7?
How about king? Ooh.
Oh.
Deuce of spades on the river is going to give Trong the win, and Marcia Riddle's tournament is over.
Every time.
Guy Trong continues to stack those chips.
Yeah, despite losing a couple hands, he's been able to hang around and rebuild his stack several times.
Here's John Nugent. Look at the stack of chips that he has.
John Nugent, one of our pro poker players, looks like he's counting out a call. Joe Waits has moved all in before the flop here.
Call, I got an all in on table 3.
So Nugent makes the call,
Ace 10 versus Ace 8. The Ace
and
8
Joe
is at
Waits'
risk.
hand is dominated here.
Still no help for
Lost
Waits.
one on table number 3.
And that is it, as his wait is over. And Waits has been eliminated by John Nugent. Let's go to Doug Clark on the floor.
Marcia Riddle here. Yesterday, you were just pushing everyone all over the table. I mean, you were a bully. But today, it was kind of the tables were turned.
I played like a girl instead of like a guy. I should know better than that.
Well, was it the cards or was it just the short stack? What was it?
It was the cards. I did better yesterday. I got more cards yesterday.
You did have a pretty good pile of chips.
I did, but this table's tougher today than it was yesterday. A lot tougher.
You can't have 2 days like you did yesterday.
Oh, no, that's true. But I'm happy I got as far as I did.
Well, it's always great to see you. Good luck.
Well, thank you very much.
Marcia Riddle, by the way, started in a poker class at Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Look where it's taken her now. As we move on to Alan Thorpe, matched up against Trav Green.
Thorpe's all in here. Trav Green eliminates him.
Last one.
My good friend Alan Thorpe here. I was told that somebody said you had the Freddy Krueger look going today. Did you know that?
No, I got told a couple times though with the hat and the striped shirt. And so I asked my wife what it meant, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, you got the red going too, you know." So.
Well, Freddie's a scary dude.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the jacks did me in. So. Yeah.
Well, I was pulling for you, but right at the end there, it was like you're out of chips.
Yeah. Two chips, but if I win, somebody else goes out, I make the money. So.
I did like the way you yelled, "All in!"
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm Bubble Boy.
Well, good to see you,
right,
man.
Thanks.
Take care, bud.
Action on C5.
Alan Thorpe, not really the bubble boy. He was the 22nd player who was eliminated. Now we're down to 21.
Here we see Skulls with pocket aces. He's announced a raise. Remember, everyone in the top 20 ends up officially earning cash, so this stage of the game can take a while, as no one wants to be that last player eliminated without taking anything home.
And we've seen players lose in this tournament holding pocket aces, so we'll see how Randy fares.
So look for some fireworks here as we see Smith with pocket queens.
Well, Henry's got a decent stack there. Let's see what he decides to do. Takes his time.
I'm all in.
All in right now for Henry Smith. Adam Coates doesn't want any part of this.
Well, Smith's not going to put Skulls off of his hand here.
85.
So Smith is going to be at risk here as long as Skulls makes this call.
So close.
I call.
And he does.
Oh, wow. Shows pocket aces.
Massive cooler.
Pocket queens. Going to the flop. All in and call on table one.
What can you do? I mean, Jesus. Yeah, you can.
3/4 of my chips.
5, 10, 6 off the flop.
Got a queen in that deck?
Good game, Henry.
And that is it for Henry Smith.
Great job making
So the
her dance
21st
18-9.
player out in the tournament is Henry Smith, and he's going to get a presentation from Doug Clark.
All right, Henry Smith, our Bubble Award winner. I mean, you're not going to go away empty-handed. You're going to get a certificate good for one free entry into the Northern Quest Resort and Casino Satellite Tournament, which is pretty dang cool. So, did you have a good time here?
I had a great time. It's my first tournament.
Really? How'd you play overall?
Well, with the exception of the last hand I played great.
2 days of fun.
Yeah. Fun, and got to see a lot of people I haven't seen in a lot of years. So it was fun.
All right, well, congratulations, Henry.
Thank you.
Well, Anthony, that's a nice consolation prize when you're the 21st person bumped, but now the players that are left are in the money.
And that's where everyone wants to be.
Rick Bauer, Trav Green, Adam Coates. Bauer and Coates hanging in there.
Bauer and Coates have played really well this tournament so far, but Trav Green has just been on a tear. He is our tournament chip leader right now.
Dan Elo came into the second round as the overall chip leader, but he's fallen on some tough times here.
That's right. Elo came in today, the chip leader, but lost quite a few hands. We'll see if he has enough to make it into the final.
Well, when you're playing poker, you always have to look out for John Nugent.
John Nugent, a true poker pro, always a danger at any table he sits down at.
Well, Al Lohner is attempting to hang in there. And what about Arlen Ald? He's still a player in the grand scheme of things as well. Kai Trong and Randy Scholes are continuing to play well. Scholes is second in chip count.
Scholes eliminated the 21st player in this tournament, getting everybody else into the money, and Trong has been able to rebuild his stack after losing a few hands.
Best of the West Poker Challenge continuing. with upcoming shows, semifinals. 10 players at each table. They will eliminate 5 players from those tables. And that will take us then to our final table, which will consist of 10 players. Check your local listings. That's what everybody's playing for, the hardware and the cash. For my partner, Anthony Fedeli, I'm Jim Brinson. Thank you for watching the Best of the West Poker Challenge.